Hi, it's Mark here on Bitcoin. Let's just make a small change. Our usual start always on US dollar index and a lot to cover today. Very good morning, 8:15 Eastern Time, 12:15 GMT. We're 15 minutes away from yet another market moving, market moving data being non-farm payrolls. New jobs, consensus for new jobs in the US, 139,000. Canadian job numbers as well. Consensus for 9.9 thousand new jobs. So that's certainly some new data thrown into the equation. But we have had, following up on the US tariff announcement 2 days ago, and we saw how the market reacted to that. Last night, China came up with retaliatory tariff measures, 34% on US goods, and that certainly has had a marked effect on the market. When the US tariffs were announced, we saw US dollar index and the US dollar come down sharply. We saw the stock markets come down sharply. We saw oil come down sharply. Gold kind of held its own, as did Bitcoin, following the China retaliatory tariff measures, which we saw implemented or announced last night to come into effect the day after the US tariffs, that on April the 10th, US is coming into effect at this point, April the 9th. What we saw was US dollar pretty much maintaining. I've got the US dollar index up. You can see that still sitting at yesterday's low number of 101.68, but the S&P continued its huge sell-off, as did oil. So let's have a look at that in a little bit more detail. US dollar index, you can see where it ended yesterday, tried higher, resistance at 102.36, support at 101.30, but sitting tight for now. Let's have a look at the S&P. And you can see this huge sell-off today. There's yesterday's big sell-off after a gap down, and that continued today all the way down to 5,211, now sitting at 5,281. But there you see a huge response. Stock market in pre-market trading. Wall Street only opens up in just over an hour, but already in pre-market, all the way down from the startup here, 5,432, right down to 5,211. I did have in, and just to point out, could also be relevant, on the weekly, I did put in a Fibonacci retracement tool measuring the preceding uptrend, which started at 3,500 all the way up. There is the sell-off that we're seeing right now. And I put in the first fib retracement level, the 38.2%, which is at 5,160. And there you see it. It's right just slightly above the low from August of last year, and that low at 5,100. So that could well be the first real test and level which sellers will contend with, possibly buyers see as an opportunity for reversal. So just to keep that number in mind, 5,160. But so far today, big sell-off in the S&P, and the effect came about because of the China tariffs. And now let's see what happens if these numbers are affected by the job numbers coming out of the US shortly. Let's have a look at gold. Gold has held its own. Yesterday, a big sell-off, but then came back to end the day at 3,118. Today, sitting in a range between 3,076 on the downside, 3,136 on the upside. Buyers will certainly be looking to test that 3,136, 3,140 area. That's what buyers will be looking for, and possibly higher. where sellers will look to break below today's support at 3,079 and look at yesterday's support of 3,058. But gold certainly holding its own through these volatile, uneasy, and uncertain market conditions. Let's have a look at oil. Big sell-off in oil following the China's announcement yesterday. Global economy, recession, all of the influencing factors against oil, and talk of no supply concerns, OPEC Plus upping their production. So all of this adding to oil's big sell-off from around that $70 level, a pivotal level, right down to 65.40 and the support at 64.31. So big sell-off in oil and kind of in uncharted territory and uncharted waters for now. Certainly if this 64.27 is challenged again, but that is a big move for now. And the RSI sitting at 29 under that 30 level. So certainly is oversold at this point, but we'll keep an eye out on that oil price. Let's have a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin relatively unaffected. Downtrend still in place. Yes, it did try higher, pushed up to this descending trend line earlier, but has come back down, sitting comfortably in the lower 80,000 area. Buyers looking to test 84, 85,000 on the upside. Sellers looking to break below the low 80s, 81, 82,000. Last word on the job numbers. I think if the job numbers come in lower than the consensus number of 139,000 jobs, that certainly could add to the sell-off in the major instruments. A number higher than consensus, better than the 139,000 jobs, I don't think will have much effect with the negative bias surrounding US dollar index. Certainly the stock markets, oil, don't see a positive number having too much effect. A negative number could add to the sell-off. Good trading, keep that discipline, and remember to refer to and to keep looking at the shorter time frames so at least we can identify resistance levels and support levels for both entry and stop loss trades that we're looking to take intraday. Good trading.